aside from Jack 4, this is probably on like number 2 on the list of games that I thought would never just be made. 16 years is a long time to go between games, especially to bring back a franchise or to bring back a series. Um, Dragon Ball Z's made a lot of games over the years, and some of them more popular than others. So it's kind of wild that, I mean, they made two Xenoverse games. Like, I don't know about you, but I thought that was them ditching Tenkaichi and they were just going to do
Especially
the Xenoverse thing.
especially with Xenoverse being like, and from what I remember, I think the second one was more or less the same as the first one, but you get more out of it. And it was just like, not only are you repeating the same stories, you're repeating the same games, just putting a giant two on it. Like, and I could be wrong. If I'm
Yeah.
wrong, don't roast me in the comments or whatever, but that's the vibe I got out of it. And the last Budokai Tenkaichi was 3, right?
Yeah.
And that was on PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2, bro, they skipped two full console generations. Like, usually if that happens, they're not making another game. Like, at least, in that specific series. And it's wild too, because like people have been asking for Tenkaichi 4 for such a long time, and I've been seeing these like mods, like people modded the game so that they could put in the newer characters into the old Tenkaichi game, which is kind of wild to see. But like, I remember Dragon Ball Raging Blast. I remember Burst Limit. Like, you remember all the games they made instead of a fourth Tenkaichi game?
Which was Raging Blast the one that was like on PS3, like the first PS3 Dragon Ball Z game, I
I
think.
think that was Burst
Uh
Limit, but
Burst Limit.
I
The one
think so.
we used to play it at the Virgin Record store.
Virgin Records,
Uh
bro. Dude, that game's roster sucked. It had like 8 characters.
and it's funny, like at the time the graphics were amazing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For
Now it's
sure.
probably like, diarrhea. Like
I mean, I wonder though, because like Dragon Ball Z, like whatever you want to say about them, they've been paying attention to the graphics for a while now. Like in most of their games, they at the very least try to make them look really good. The newer games like Kakarot and Fighters look like like you're watching the TV show. Like kind of insane.
yeah.
We didn't see that much in this Tenkaichi 4 trailer, but the little clip that they showed looks insane. It looks like the most beautiful Dragon Ball Z game ever made. Uh, how are you feeling about all this, man? I mean, I was freaking out when I saw this trailer.
So it gives me memories of getting my like try to enjoy the game, but a certain someone in my family tries to claim ownership of all things Dragon Ball. So it's like, hey, you can't play as this guy, you can't play as that guy. You gotta use this guy, you gotta use that guy. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, I mean, because in my if I was to do the same thing, it's okay if we're playing Naruto, you have to use Choji, you have to use what's that one kid's name? I can't remember the kid. The little kid from Naruto. If anyone watching or listening to this, I'm a bad Naruto fan. I can't remember the name of the kid, but anyway, the whack characters. Or if I'm playing a wrestling game, hey, you can only use like Dolph Ziggler or Omos or something like. So
You would be so lucky to use Omos. You would be so lucky.
Kono Hamaru, that's the kid I was thinking of Naruto. But anyway,
Okay.
so in aside from that, those traumatic memories, um, I was watching that video you sent me from Mighty Keith, and he mentions about Hercule had the jetpack so he can fly, and it was attention to detail. And there was other things that the other games did that had attention to detail as well. I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, but they did do certain things for these games that was like ahead of its time.
Oh, for
So
sure. Yeah, for sure.
I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with those things for this game. I don't know what they're gonna do story wise in terms of like, will it be choose a scenario and play it, or will it be explore a little
Hmm.
bit of something? Because this is coming after Kakarot. Um,
Yes.
so I mean, Granted, I found Kakarot to be very boring. I got to where Trunks kills Frieza, and I was like, yeah, I'm bored. I'm done.
Mm,
And I'm on six, and I never got to do Super Saiyan Vegeta, and Vegeta's my favorite character in Dragon Ball Z.
hmm.
So I was, but hopefully they do a good story mode. Hopefully it's not too much of a grind to get into Super. And there's also that talk of how far into Super will we get to play? Are we only going to go up to the tournament or the last tournament? Are we going to get into the Moral arc? Will there be There's going to be DLC, of course. We know that. Like
Oh,
there'll
for
be
sure,
DLC
yeah.
down the road. Um, and how many characters? Because as you guys may or may not know from the old games, each transformation is its own character. So Super Saiyan Goku is a
Yeah,
separate character from Goku, even though he can transform to him in battle. So
I think the character thing is probably the most interesting topic about this game because those, Budokai 2 and 3 were known for I think Budokai 3 I read had the largest roster in a Dragon Ball Z game up until like Xenoverse 2 got all of the DLC, which is crazy because like Tenkaichi 3 is so old and they've made so many Dragon Ball Z games since then. So it's going to be interesting because those old Tenkaichi games came out during a different time in the world of video games. Like there was no DLC. It was like whatever like was in the game, that was all the content. So they packed all that shit in there. And I don't know, I was thinking like realistically for a Tenkaichi game. So I didn't play Xenoverse, so I don't know what the base roster for that game was. But like do you think like would people be okay with like a starting roster of like 50 of the popular characters?
I'd say it's gonna be yes and no. Um,
Okay.
because you have those people who are gonna say like, "Oh, I only care about the important people," and they put them in. Like, who wants to play as what's the name, General Tao, or who wants to play as Android 8 type of thing? But
Right.
they're
Like a
gonna
single
have those.
Cyberman. You don't want to play as
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So you're gonna have those people who are gonna be like, "Oh, well, how is it that the last game had all these characters, but this one doesn't? Okay, look at all the other fighting games that does that. Some characters get removed, some characters get a new character added to it. Um, I just hope they don't do anything as crazy as like Street Fighter 5 did, where you had to buy like a $30 pack for all the characters that comes in that pack, or one for like whatever it was, like $5 or $10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and then you had there was another game that I was thinking about recently. Oh, the Xenoverse 2. Um, no matter how many DLC they're gonna get for Tenkaichi 4, Xenoverse 2 got supported for so many years after release.
Yeah.
Like it just got a DLC pack sometime last year, another DLC. And I'm like, you guys are still putting content into this game?
Yeah, they
Like,
even stopped putting out content for fighters. Like
yeah,
and
and it's
Xeno
like
and they and Xenoverse 2 is still getting new content.
how like how? So like, you know, I I see the two sides of one. Someone's gonna want all the characters, and the other
Right.
person's gonna say, well, that's gonna be too crowded. A lot of characters won't even get used. Um, who's gonna use Cyberman? Who's gonna use any member of the Ginyu Force, with the exception of maybe. So I know Berto was the fastest one in the games because he was the fastest one in the team, but if you beefed up his strength stats and you use his speed, you were gonna like win most matches anyway. Um,
I know, dude, it's so complicated with a franchise like Dragon Ball Z because if you don't put in a lot of these like known characters, but characters that you're not necessarily like running to pick from the
mhm,
roster. But if they're not in the game, people are gonna be like, well, why is like how's the Ginyu Force not in the game? Like how is this group not in the game? How's that person not in the game? When in reality, like the vast majority of people are not gonna pick these characters to play as, or the characters just aren't gonna be that good. Like it's a fighting game at the end of the day. In every fighting game, there are tiers of characters. And so unless they're going to make every single character S tier, there's just going to be people left over that just aren't that good. That was a problem that I remember the old Tenkaichi games did have was like, despite having so many characters, a lot of the different types of characters played very similarly. Like the
right.
giant characters all pretty much played the same. you had a lot of characters that had like the exact same like explosion
Hmm.
special attack. A lot of the small characters played the same. So if you are gonna give like a Tenkaichi sized roster, I'm personally okay with them trimming it down if it means we get more of like a fighter's feel of a lot of the characters feeling very unique, not including like 12 different versions of Goku. Please save all his other versions either for DLC or just make them uh modes that he can go into because he did go from base Goku to Super Saiyan Blue, which is I thought not possible, but I guess maybe it will be in the game. I don't know because I guess he'd have to go through a shit ton of transformations to get to Blue.
So it could be either like a cutscene or to be like you use the capsules to choose the moves and you could just get a certain power up to like go straight into blue. Um but here's my biggest concern about the game. So and I tried to bring this point up to my brother who was he buys every single Dragon Ball Z game in existence
Hmm.
and I guess it never clicked in his mind, but you play a game like Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi, and if you don't put any of the capsule stat boost on a certain character, you're
Hmm.
not gonna win a fight against like you could take increased boost Krillin versus Super Saiyan 4 Goku, who has base Super Saiyan 4 Goku, no additions to the boost. Goku's still gonna win.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at a game like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, any character is capable of beating any character.
Right.
And then in the first Injustice, they had those different tiers. You had characters who were always levitating, characters who are on the ground, with their gadgets, and the heavyset characters. I did a King of the Hill match in Injustice One Online, and the guy he was playing as Bane. I was like, oh, this guy's using Bane. He's the king, really? You guys must suck if he's fighting as Bane because Bane is slow and chunky. He whooped everyone's ass
Oh
over
no,
and
Bane
over
was one of the
again.
best characters in that game.
He was like king of the
Like,
hill the whole time, and I was like, bro,
yeah.
if you know how to use that character for that class, you're gonna get a win. But Dragon Ball Z, oh, I maxed out Krillin. He's still gonna lose against Super Saiyan 4 Goku or Super
Right.
Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Like it's like the other kid from that from high school. Like, oh, I'll beat you with Super
Yeah.
Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, it's funny though because I played a pretty good amount of fighters, not like online or anything because I'm not good enough at fighting games, but I played it a lot offline. I really enjoyed that game. But from a lot of the like videos and gameplay that I watched on YouTube of the more competitive, like meta players, um, you can get some pretty unique teams because of the tag team element of that game. And I did want to say that I don't remember which Tenkaichi it was. Maybe it was three, because that's the one where they just kind of threw everything in. I'm pretty sure they had tag battles in that game. So I hope that I don't know if we need 3v3 because that might be a lot for them to run. It's like if there's so many characters in the game already and they're like already pushing the graphics to look really good. But 2v2 would be awesome if we can at least get some sort of tag element.
Right.
I think tag elements are cool for fighting games in general. Um, but yeah, I I I hope that that's something that's in the game.
And would this technically be the first next gen Dragon Ball Z game?
Assuming that it is only for PS5 and Xbox
Yeah,
X, then yes.
that's gonna be another topic I want to talk about because I have my
Because
thoughts about that.
Kakarot did just get a PS5, Xbox Series X
Yeah, upgrade,
upgrade.
which I think my brother paid for a brand new copy of it and played from the beginning. I think I don't
That
have
is a
confirmation on that,
grind.
but
I
and
was
that
wondering, I mean, I get why they didn't do this, I think, but based on the hype just surrounding that trailer and everything that transpired, all the videos, all the reactions, I kind of feel like they should have put the pre-orders up. Like, I think they
right,
probably couldn't because the game is, I would assume, not coming out till at this like earliest next year. And maybe there is some rule or just some internal thing about companies not wanting to put out pre-orders too early. But dude, the amount of hype just from that like 30-second trailer, that's gonna be hard to replicate. I mean, I know everybody's hyped for Tenkaichi, but I kind of feel like, man, if they'd put that up, I might have pre-ordered, like knowing literally nothing about what the game's gonna end up being. But I was pretty freaking excited, so they might have actually gotten me, if I'm being honest.
And you know what's crazy is like with the recent Naruto announcement, we got more. So we got gameplay for that Naruto game, but it's literally the same gameplay as the previous Ninja Storm games, which I'm fine with the fighting of it, but we got no information in the trailer itself about how the story mode is going to be because the last one they did, it was you chose the scenario of whatever, you know, mission it was. You watch a long ass cutscene, you do the long ass fight, watch another long ass cutscene. And for me, not watching the anime past the beginning of Shippuden, I was like, okay, this is cool. I get to watch a bit more of it.
Hmm.
But it's also kind of taking me out of the experience because I want to play more than I'm watching, you know. And the previous ones, the story mode was kind of like a RPG type of gameplay. You know, you run from one place to another and you go
Yeah, I
through
remember
the
some of that.
Mhm. So with Tenkaichi, I know in the past it was, I think, choose a scenario thing. I can't remember what Tenkaichi 2 had as a story mode, but they should do something that's kind of a mix of Kakarot and Legacy of Goku too. Like something like that might be cool. But of course the focus will be on the fighting and the characters. They gotta put new Broly. They gotta put the new Cell from that last movie, which I don't really think I want that in the in the game, but
Is that the one with Orange Piccolo?
yeah, Orange Piccolo. Oh my God. They gotta put Orange
Yeah,
Piccolo in the game.
I'm excited for that. Who do you think's gonna be on the cover?
Definitely Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta.
Okay, because it's funny. I was watching a video of this guy who was he was going over the boxes. He like purchased the old Budokai games, and the second Budokai Tenkaichi game. I mean, I think it's the best cover because it has my favorite character on it in my favorite form of the character, but it has Trunks, Super Saiyan Trunks with the sword, and I was like, it's kind of a weird choice though to be on the cover of the game because like Trunks is a popular character for sure, but I feel like yeah, I mean on the third game it was like the whole, roster, like the whole Dragon Ball family,
Right.
um all the most popular characters. So then I was kind of thinking like, well, fighters, pretty sure it was a Super Saiyan Goku, Super Saiyan 1 Goku.
Yeah, I think so.
So and then obviously Kakarot, and then I don't know who's on the cover of Xenoverse because that game has so many additional DLC packs that I can't keep up. But yeah, I guess you're right. I guess it would probably be
So the Xenoverse
Goku and Vegeta.
2, it had Goku as a Super Saiyan, and behind him was like different like images of it was either him or Vegeta. I'm looking at it right now. Who was it? Okay, so it was Goku in the front, and Bardock is behind him, and there's like Goku Shadow, and inside Goku Shadow is Future Gohan.
Hmm.
Um, so that's I mean it's a pretty cool, it's a pretty dope cover, but it's gonna in my I think it'll be Super Saiyan Blue, Goku and Vegeta, or this would be a really cool one. Super Saiyan Blue, either Gogeta or Vegito. Um,
Ooh, yeah.
and I just remembered this game is probably gonna have Beerus and Whis.
Dude, I mean, I think, man, just now that I'm thinking about it, this is almost like a Pokemon situation where, like, when they made the last Budokai game, there weren't, I mean, there were a lot of Dragon Ball Z characters, but there are way more Dragon Ball Z characters now. And, like, Pokemon ran into this issue of, like, they made so many games and introduced so many new Pokemon that they ran into a situation where they just couldn't include all of them in every single game. So I kind of wonder, like, obviously like Bandai knows the fans are going to want a lot of the newer popular characters. You're gonna want Jiren, you're gonna want your Orange Piccolo, you're gonna want your Gold Frieza. You're gonna want characters that showed up in some of the recent Dragon Ball Z games. So I wonder how they're gonna handle, like, part of what made like Tenkaichi kind of funny was that you could play as one Cyberman. Or like you could play as Hercule, who was arguably one of the worst characters in the game. Unless I guess you knew how to use him and you could just whoop anyone's ass.
Yeah. Yep.
But I do kind of wonder, since we're in a different, time now of like games like WWE 2K already announced their DLC packs. The game's not even out yet. Like you have companies planning the DLC. They're literally planning to not include content in the base game. So I kind of wonder how Tenkaichi's gonna run with this. I think what's exciting is that given how much time and like how much additional content they gave Xenoverse 2, Tenkaichi 4 is probably getting like what 5 years of support. So I mean, say what you want about the Dragon Ball Z games recently, but they've provided a lot of post-game support for most of them, or post-launch support for most of them. Like I know Kakarot only got like one or two DLC packs, but that game was also huge. Like there was already so much to do. Um,
Right.
so I feel confident that like there will be a good amount of post-launch support. I'm just worried because there are so many Dragon Ball Z characters now. Boy, it's gonna be tough to know which ones to include. But they did do a really good job with fighters. They included like most of the ones people asked for, which is pretty great.
Especially because that new Naruto game, I forgot the confirmed number of characters, but it's over 100. Um,
At launch?
yeah.
Damn.
Because keep in mind, it's going to be characters from the first four games, which is doing all of base Naruto, all of Shippuden, and the Boruto anime. But um, I don't think they're going to add any DLC characters because I think they just did, they said at launch, they're going to include everyone in the first, like, at release. Um, so with Dragon Ball Z getting their game, I mean, Dragon Ball Z has been known for a lot of DLC characters because of Xenoverse 2 and because of fighters. So we can expect a lot of DLC for certain characters. But I do think base game will obviously have for the most part, all your Gokus, or your Vegetas, the Gohans, the main people. I think Jiren might be a base launch person and not so much a DLC. I think if they're gonna do DLC characters, we could expect it to be either, lower tier characters who didn't make the cut, like, maybe like Videl or something like that. And then you might see lesser known characters from the newer one, like Jiren might be base launch, but DLC might be his other whatever his team is called.
Hmm.
His other teammates for there, or the other people from the other universes that didn't make the cut. Um, I want to see like how they're gonna handle with Kale and Khalifa and Kefla. Um, new Broly and of course old Broly would be in it because everyone loves old Broly. You cannot do a game without old Broly.
The OG, bro.
Um,
The OG.
and I want to know, these new next gen consoles have ray tracing and everything. Well, they better put ray tracing on Krillin's head. Like I better see the fucking sky shine off of his fucking head.
Give me Super Saiyan Krillin, man. Make the dots gold or blue. Give Krillin a new form, damn it.
Give me Super Saiyan Nappa. Make,
Yeah.
give me Nappa with the mustache and his mustache turns Super Saiyan.
Yeah, this is very exciting. It was really cool. Just as I'm a fan of Dragon Ball Z, but I don't have nearly the knowledge of it that like you have or that a lot of other like diehard fans have. As a kid, I just always thought the characters looked dope as hell. Um, and yeah, they had some of the coolest character and art designs that I had ever seen. And it's honestly just really cool to see so many people like all come out and get super hyped up for this game that a lot of us thought was never gonna happen, that we had kind of forgotten about. Like, it's kind of cool. This doesn't happen often, but it is kind of cool to see a company go back and actually like do something that fans had forgotten they wanted. This doesn't happen very often, so let's all appreciate it. Hopefully, it lives up to the hype.
Especially because you texted me like, "Hey, check the group chat." I forgot I was doing something, and you texted me. You like you said, check the group chat. Thank you in advance or whatever." And I was like, "Okay, what's going on?" And I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, I was like, no, no, bro, this is important. Like, stop whatever you're doing. Watch the
And
trailer.
then I sent it to my brother's group chat. Like, we can have, my me and my I'm on a
Yeah,
group chat
yeah.
with me and my three brothers, and not a single response about it.
Nothing. Crickets.
Nothing. I'm
Are you
like,
serious?
this is y'all fuck. I was like, you know what? I'm going to sleep. Like, you guys are like,
What? No
nothing, no
response?
response,
Did it
nothing.
say they saw it?
No. So the problem with that is Joey's the only one without an iPhone, so we get
Mm.
default to the Android texting. So we can't see if he
Oh, okay.
and but I'm
Wow,
like,
no
dude,
response.
this is your game, dude. Like,
Bro, what? Wow. Well, we're excited. We're excited, man. At least we're excited. A lot of other people are as well. Any closing thoughts before we get on out of here?
yeah, closing thoughts is hot take. No matter what fighting game comes out, it's still nothing compared to Street Fighter 6. No, I'm just kidding. I really mean
Cammy's not
they
in
be
Dragon
too.
Ball. I'm not buying it. Failure of a
Yeah,
game.
no Cammy, no Akuma. Speaking of, where the fuck is Akuma for Street Fighter 6?
Akuma
I
would
gotta.
solo Goku's whole family. We all know it.
Akuma was sold the whole roster. Cammy alone was sold the whole roster just for her looks alone. But no, I'm excited. I do hope they fix some balancing stuff, and I hope they do like tiers. And I, I think it comes down now to like whenever that releases between Naruto versus Dragon Ball again, like who has the better game, and I mean I'm gonna get both either way. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
If you're an anime fan, you're eating good. I heard the One Piece game was pretty dope, so
Oh yeah, they
I'm
just did
glad
the
that
One
One
Piece
Piece fans,
game.
yeah, I'm glad that One Piece fans, finally got something to represent that franchise, Naruto, and now, I'm sorry, but the king is back, baby. Tenkaichi is back. Like, we're eating good, man.
We
I'm
are
super
eating good.
excited. Yeah, I honestly can't wait for more info. I'm kind of curious. I wonder if we'll get anything else at E3, either like E3 time or just specifically if they do anything there. Even just like a small update on some info about the game would be kind of cool. Maybe like a projected roster size or like a
Right.
potential release window. Even a cover, like the cover art would be kind of dope. But I'm hoping we get some sort of update within the next few months.
And I
Yeah.
had one more thought. They better not put this on Switch and fuck it up. Like,
Mm.
don't put it on
Was
Switch. Just don't even
Wait, was
bother.
Kakarot on Switch?
Yeah, it was. That's where I played it.
Oof, that game barely ran on PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I played mine on Switch and it was alright.
Ah, wow. Yeah. Well, if you're buying Hogwarts Legacy on Switch in a couple months, then you're probably gonna buy Tenkaichi 4 on Switch too.
My brother.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
gonna be it for today, guys. We're gonna wrap this up and we're gonna see you guys on the next episode. Peace.